What's good, YouTube? And welcome to pre-sales being live over on Gamer's Choice and Tier 0. Of course, you can use code What'sGood5 for 5% off and to support the channel directly, but I'll always put y'all first and say my thoughts on the set, whether it's good or bad. And I did see Gamer's Choice last night go up around 11 p.m. I shouted it out on Discord and Twitter, and when it comes down to it, I think they're playing a bit of too safe of a spread in order to mitigate versus maybe short prints, half prints, or maybe a slot being taken by a card like Blue Eyes, and then it being a 1 in 3rd chance of the different Blue Eyes arts, right? So there's only one card in all of Stampede, the previous set, Rarity 3, that is above triple digits. And while it had a ton of hype and a ton of buyouts, look at the actual prices on Stampede, and then look at how this is priced up. You have about 15 cards here at the $100 mark, and with the code the $95 mark, I don't think the estimated value pull chop up will hold up that much, even though we're record MSRP per card. I just don't see that happening. I think some arts will take the favorite slot. Like, I don't think that this movie pack Dark Magician is anywhere close the Bandai art. Like, I think the Bandai art, which in Ultra Rare was already holding its own, yeah, the Quarter Century Secret Rare could take that price away from it and be a solid $100 card, but I don't think that this movie pack art should be up here, for example. So try not to shop with FOMO. Do slow down, but I see a lot of these things selling out, and some of them I do think could really be up there, like Max C. This is, what, 1/6 of the hype price of the Ultimate Rare? Makes a bit of sense it would sell out at 100 on pre-sales. Blue Eyes is the card out of Stampede that went crazy, and here's an art so far locked into the set. Konami has proven that they like to just re-wave those alter arts, but there's a ton of interest right now thanks to Ray in Battles of Legend and its alter art going absolutely nuts in price and being bought out. And then the Dark Magician Girl from the tins, which was used to sell the tins, already reprinted in here in a higher, more desirable rarity, and people did go after that. This is what I thought would be super successful in Bonanza, though, and when it comes down to it, they actually ended up going down as other things rose for past formats and ate that estimated value pull. Now, people have gone back in on the Dark Magician Girls here recently, and I get wanting to complete that collection, so this adds on to what people already have. Let's go ahead and check out Tier 0 and then go through what I like about Gamer's Choice as well. It's not all bad, and like I said, I see why some of those sold out. Let's get to price high to low over here. They have one card triple digit, that is Ash Blossom as well, before we're at the $98 mark, so we have the Blue Eyes a bit cheaper for them, Effect Veiler up here, and Diabell Star, and then we get into the lower 90s and we're out of the 90s after 3 cards. We have Max C, we have Sky Striker Ace Ray, which will be competing with that other alter art, and I think this one looks really good comparatively, and then we have Dragon Master Magia and Platinum of this high. I think that's a bit hype beasted. I mean, Konami already created this problem. Hopefully it doesn't end up that bad, and I do know that pre-sellers have to think about shorts and what could be. That's wild to me. 92, oh my gosh. There are other versions of this besides Platinum, right? Like, I'm pretty sure we saw other ones pulled and put up on pre-sales. I'll double check that. We have the Dark Magician Girl version 2 here at 78, the other DMG here as well. I don't really love the Nibiru alter art, but I do think it's sold out over here. Yeah, they sold out of the Diabell Star at 100, Dark Magician at 100, and Effect Veiler. There goes Nibiru at 80. So they do have it priced just a bit up versus theirs. I guess they like it more. I think the rock is iconic. I don't really love the new look, but I did have a positive reception overall. People are like, who's this? Wow, it's crazy. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just too old boomer hater on it. I think Zeus is super cool to see. And here we have Lady Labyrinth, a good chunk cheaper at 78. We have Blazing Cartesia, I think is more expensive than what Gamers had it at. I think Gamers had it around 60 some odd. So that is up. Here goes the Winged Dragon of Ra, Obelisk, and Slifer. More in that price range I would have liked to see of around 60-ish, and with the code it gets right around there. These all had buyouts for their alter arts, and these are the more preferred arts with the OG arts on the set. The other Blue Eyes are priced lower as well, around 65. That's that seems priced to sell. I could see these even settling around 50 if the other art takes it, but Blue Eyes collectors are a different breed, and they often do surpass my expectations, like the Maven's Pharaoh Rare is ridiculously expensive. So these being highest rarity, maybe it is actually a decent buy. I'm not really sure where to place these other than I think they're neat, especially the movie pack. People call this the egg-laying one, even though it's a Bandai reference. So you never know how it's going to go. This Dark Magician seems practically low to me. The new debut locked art for now in here. And then Trap Dushu, that is one of the ones I immediately would be wanting for myself from the set. I think 60 is right where I called it should be in the Discord, and people were asking if they should get it at 50, so I'm guessing gamers might have had it at 50. We'll check in on that. Royal Oppression up here. Dragon Master Magia Collector Rare. Oh, it's so ugly. Why? Oh, Sage with Eyes of Blue. I heard a lot of people were rushing at to max out their Blue Eyes decks as well. Metamorphosis, I'm a goat boomer. This one has been asked for so long. Arcana DM is one that I will be immediately getting myself, and I really like the Bandai DM as well. Both of these at 50 makes me happy. I think Gamer's Choice debuted theirs around 70. We do have the Alter Art Hayate relatively low for what it is. I get it's not Rei herself, but wow. That's a pretty decent price in my opinion for an Alter. And here's Ecclesia and Albaz. I think Gamers actually had Ecclesia very low for what it was, around 30. So they did a huge dub on that one versus Tier 0. And you have the Red Eyes here. I really like these. I got the misprint of this specific art from the 10s with the secret rare foiling. And Delinquent Duo up here, so Goat Boomer stuff. Lightning Storm has a ton of recent buyouts. So if Lightning Storm is QCR only for its alter art, it won't really affect that pricing, and people may be after this one. Cyber Dragon's huge, as is, and a fan favorite, so we'll see how that actually pans out versus the recent buyouts. Alubert has his alter art there. Sky Striker Ace Ray with the QCR. Dragon Master Magi again. You're going to get a head shake from me every time seeing that this high priced after a reprint. That is such a shame. Buster Blader at 40. See, this is where I think they're playing more the buyouts that happened with Stampede ahead of time, because the buyouts did happen relatively quickly, and ones like Dark Paladin from the anime and show went up so fast, and Buster Blader is a huge fan favorite. 40 is where I would guess it would go, but I would hope to see it on pre-sales at 30, so it makes sense their heads in the game on a card like this. Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit OG art here at 39 with it being format dependent. That's interesting. The Platinum for Molcharmy Fulo. So I know that they priced the Secret Molcharmy at around 20 on Gamers, but that's highest rarity. Let's see where all of this panned out. Fulos. I just want to go ahead and check it out because that about rounds out pre-sales for me personally. Let me know if there were any other cards you specifically wanted to see talked about. But this is the big meta reprint, so I want to see what the cheapest access version is, and it's around $15 here. Let's go ahead and type that in before going back. Fulos. There we go. We have $15 as well. That makes a good bit of sense. I think that a lot of these cards, like SP Little Knight, you didn't need to grab 3 of, and this card debuting in here and being in time for the WCQ season will have people rushing at it. I would hope, though, that this gets ripped open enough to be a $10 card, but I've heard a lot of people saying, just buy the singles with this set, you're not going to be pulling what you're wanting, and that sort of stuff. I don't know that it'll be as ripped open as the other rarity collection sets, especially with the cost of card being higher. I hope it does get ripped open a good degree and the singles get out there, but I get why they're pricing it this way instead of the 10/12 of the previous ones. I just would have hoped to see like a $12 copy and then the code usage and that sort of stuff. Let's sort best selling for Gamer's Choice since they've been up longer. I know Tier 0 just went up, so Fulos is number 1. Ugly to see Magia get rewarded. I guess that's due to copies. There's Fiend Smith Engraver at 7, which is nice. That is one I needed to actually check in on, and seeing that so accessible for a WCQ engine is great, although as people have mentioned, Sutff Track has now been bought out. We saw Battles of Legend before the WCQ, so hopefully they do that connecting set thing they love to do and we see more relevant reprints ahead of the WCQ. We have Typhon, very affordable for its nice versions. I think that's a bit of a deal. I'm looking forward to Splash Mage. I would be picking that up. I get why it's on this front page of top selling. I think that it's underestimated by a lot of people, but maybe I'm just too cyber-sprained on that one, right? Let's go ahead and continue through a couple of pages here. That's 1 through 8. Is that, am I at some limit of their pre-sales? Interesting. Let's go ahead and see their best selling, since they should have been up just a little bit through the video. People are buying out the Albaz stuff. That's immediately what I thought would be targeted, even though it's a little bit more than Gamer's Choice had it at. We have the Dark Magician already going. Okay, that makes sense. I would be thinking about that if I was still Vendor Man. And the Blue Eyes that did sell out for Gamer's Choice. Overall, I think this is a different beast than Bonanza, thanks to the altar arts being one of the selling points. I would be cautious about holding those long term as a quote-unquote investment, but if you're looking for the value versus money into these altars, do keep in mind that Konami likes to rewave, but highest rarity does tend to stick to some degree. I just would not count on these being the only printings of these cards for all time, and the 30th anniversary, who knows what they're going to do for that, or if they actually will leave some of these without reprints and you're gambling which ones those are. I really don't know what Konami will do with the future of those. In the past, they've been a lot more willy-nilly with past arts, and you already see within this set they are with the Dark Magician Girl, so just err on the side of caution and don't buy them with FOMO, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and talk about some cards that actually did move, like Sutff Track, because they were missing from the set. We see that the Secret Rare went up immediately as people needed it for the engine, and now the lowest is $35. We also have Bestial Druisworm stopping the bleeding here as it was falling off, assumed to be reprinted, and is immediately bouncing back towards 20, where it was 25 when reprint fears kicked in. And the Dark Magician Girl to complete that set from the 10s of people going for it, and the cheapest one in general, has been non-stop going up slowly. This is one that I called that you should get sooner than later. It's only up a couple dollars at this point, but it's also the MFC art, one of the most iconic, and it's a deal versus those other arts. Whereas, again, we mentioned, oh, they like to just kind of throw these in places at times, and that's exactly what's happened right here. So we'll see what they do with the future of these specific ones. But Gamer's Choice with some wins. Like I said, I believe they had Ecclesia way cheaper for themselves. There's Ecclesia, and let's just go ahead and confirm that's what they actually sold out at for the altar art. They have all the past ones on here. That's interesting, so you can see like what past ones were listed at. There's the altar, and indeed it was at 30 when they sold out. So again, it's not like Gamer's Choice didn't have things competitive and in the game. I just feel like they played a bit of a safe spread on this one versus potential ratios. Tier 0 came out swinging on some things, but again, still got beat on other things by Gamer's Choice. With pre-sales, you're looking to play against the house, and the house doesn't always win here. You're trying to figure out the couple of things you want, not get everything you want during pre-sales. And I love that I have sponsors that allow me to talk about my thoughts throughout there and say, hey, don't buy this. This seems like a good deal. I'd stay away from that, though. I love that the sponsors are willing to work with me on stuff like that and allow me to say that and let me go through my thoughts here when it comes down to this. And that's why I love Tier 0 Gamer's Choice, and that they're competition for each other instead of shaking hands behind the scenes and all that stuff. I love that they go at each other like this, and there's back and forth, and they put their thoughts on paper. And as somebody that wanted to open a store at one point, it's super interesting to see how pre-sales are handled, and that's why I feature them. There are deals to be had, but don't just go bang bang, I want everything from this set. Although I will say, if you went for that complete set from the Bonanza set for the QCRs, you did end up winning huge. So once in a great while, you gamble and win, I suppose. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy these more kind of discussions on the other side too on the back end. But I do think there are some things worth grabbing, but again, this is a completely different beast than Bonanza was here with Stampede.